state housing.
I can't speak to that until we meet. I can't speak to that until we meet as a team. But I know that a decision will be made. There are about 6 points on an agenda that have to be addressed. That's one of them. So I know that at some point, the substantive minister and us, his team, will get down to making it all work.
And the issue of those who are really in need of housing, what the last government said was the moorings of the HDC. How do you intend to ensure that occurs? Because there was this claim under the previous government that sometimes persons who got state housing may have been able to qualify the private sector a lot easier.
Two of the three ministers are businessmen, and we will find a way to make the HDC as close to financially self-sufficient as possible. But we have to remember, and you're right when you ask, what about people in dire need of housing, people who find themselves in circumstances where they're being rescued? I know that that was the initial purpose of the NHA that became the HDC, and I know that there would be things put in place for circumstances like those. Prime Minister Kamala Persad has a heart for people. She's going to make sure that we in this ministry, that's our guidance. All of us, those are the guidelines we get. We are going to be the rising tide that lifts all boats. She's saying, don't lose sight of the ground. That's the ground.
One last question, Minister. In one far better, there was a time that the Prime Minister, before elected, would have been saying on the campaign trail that the government has no business with for instance, the state entities such as HGC and many other different state-owned companies. Is it by chance, or has it ever been a discussion between yourself, your colleagues, in terms of turning, let's say, the HDC into a private-owned business?
That's not a. I have not been around for any conversation like that.
Right.
So I know that the last government was on a privatization space. They were very interested in getting everything, but I don't know that that is on the cards here.
Right.
I've not seen anything like that, but we're going to be guided by the Prime Minister. She has a plan for the country. She has a plan for her government. She has a plan for this ministry. And we're going to be guided by that.
Do you think that Philip Edward Alexander is a good fit for minister in the Ministry of Housing?
Philip Edward Alexander is a good fit everywhere. I'm a fix-it man. I can solve problems, and that's why I'm here. And I know that as soon as she needs me somewhere else, I'll be plucked and moved, and I expect that, and I'm happy to serve wherever she puts me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.